Today, we're talking about something huge, the AI black box. You know, when an algorithm makes a massive decision about your life, and you have no idea why. Well, that's changing. We're going to dive into a brand new right that's giving you the power to demand answers. So let's get right into it. So let's just imagine for a second an AI makes a huge call about your life. We're talking about a job application, a loan you really need, maybe even a medical diagnosis. Do you actually have the right to know why it made that decision? For a surprisingly long time, the answer to that has been, well, murky at best. And that right there is the core of the problem. Your loan application gets denied. The reason? Basically, the computer says no. That's the AI black box for you. These super important decisions get made by systems with hidden logic, and it leaves you feeling completely powerless. You can't understand it, so how can you even begin to challenge it? So, to understand how we're finally starting to pry open that black box, we've got to go back a few years. We need to start with the landmark law that really laid the foundation for all our digital rights, at least in Europe, and that's the GDPR. Okay, so GDPR. For a while now, it's been the gold standard for data privacy all over the world. The cool thing is, it applies to any company, anywhere, if they're handling data from people in the EU. It was, and this is no exaggeration, a revolutionary step in giving us back some control over our own personal information. And buried inside the GDPR was this really crucial bit, Article 22. This was kind of the first real swing at tackling the black box problem. It basically said that you can't be subject to a decision made only by an algorithm if it has a big impact on you. It gave people the right to say, hey, I want a human to look at this, and the right to actually fight the decision. You know, as Dr. Floridi from Oxford puts it, the whole point of GDPR wasn't just about a bunch of new rules for companies to follow. It was about something bigger, building trust. Trust in the digital systems we have to use every single day. But here's the thing. GDPR was great, but it was designed for the world of yesterday. As AI got way more complicated and powerful, it was pretty clear that we needed a new rulebook, something more specific. And that brings us to the brand new EU AI Act. Now, it's really important to get the difference between these two. Think of it like this. GDPR is like a privacy shield for your personal data. The AI Act, on the other hand, is more like a safety inspection for the AI tool itself. It treats AI like a new car or a toaster. It has to be proven safe before it can be sold to the public. And listen, this isn't some far-off futuristic thing we're talking about. This is happening right now. The AI Act is already rolling out. It went into force in August 2024. The bans on the really scary stuff, they start in early 2025. And by August 2026, this right to an explanation we're talking about becomes totally enforceable. The clock is ticking. Okay, so how does this new law actually work? The whole idea behind it is pretty simple, really. The more dangerous an AI could be to us, the tougher the rules get. It's all based on this risk-based approach, where they basically sort AI into different categories based on how much harm they could cause. So you've got these different tiers. At the very top, you have unacceptable risk. Think things like government-run social scoring systems. That stuff is just straight up banned. Gone. Then, way down at the bottom, you have minimal risk. Things like spam filters, which are mostly left alone. But the really interesting part, where most of the action is that high-risk category. This is where you find AI being used for hiring, for credit scores, for all those critical services that really affect our lives. All right, so how does this all fit together? Let's get to the real heart of the matter. How do these two laws, GDPR and the new AI Act, work together to give you this powerful new right to demand answers? And the stakes are just getting higher and higher, especially with today's large language models. I mean, check out this research. It makes a crucial point. These big models, they don't just learn. They literally memorize huge chunks of the data they're trained on. And if your personal info is in that data, well, the AI remembers it. That's why transparency is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. And this is the key. Article 86 of the AI Act. This is the game changer, right here. It says flat out that if a high-risk AI system makes a decision about you, you have the right to get clear and meaningful explanations about how that AI influenced the decision. No more computer says no. So you can really see how the AI Act just levels up what GDPR started. Remember how GDPR only applied to decisions made solely by a machine? Well, that was a huge loophole, and companies drove a truck through it. The AI Act slams that loophole shut for high-risk systems. It also gets specific about who's on the hook, not just the data controller, but the deployer, the company actually using the AI. And best of all, it goes from demanding information about the logic to demanding clear and meaningful explanations. It might sound small, but that is a massive, massive upgrade.
Okay, so enough with the legal jargon. What does all of this actually mean for you in the real world? Let's connect the dots.
This is where it gets really interesting. It turns out that almost all of the AI systems that the AI Act calls high risk also happen to process our personal data. And what does that mean? It means in most of the situations that matter most, you are double protected. You've got GDPR and the AI Act both fighting in your corner. And make no mistake, regulators are not playing around. If companies break these new rules, they are looking at fines that are just staggering. We're talking up to 35 million euros, or 7% of their global turnover, whichever number is bigger. That's a serious penalty, even bigger than the ones under GDPR. And look, this isn't just about Europe. Just like what happened with GDPR, any company in the world that wants to do business in the EU is going to have to play by these rules. It's something people call the Brussels effect. Essentially, the EU is setting a new global standard for what accountable AI looks like. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's a huge shift in power, really. For you, it means you have more power to fight back against those black box decisions. For companies, it means they have to be more transparent. And the big picture goal here? To build an AI world that we can actually trust, instead of just fear. So that leaves us with one final big question. The laws are here, your rights are stronger than ever. You can now legally demand an explanation, but are the companies ready? Are they technically, and maybe more importantly, culturally, prepared to finally open up that black box? That is going to be the real test.